Howdy ho, my peeps! All right, Grant and I just had dinner, which was refried basmati rice with broccoli slaw and riced cauliflower and a lot of spices to make it taste sort of Indian, with along with a little bit of coconut oil to cook it in. Well, as I'm digging through my spice rack, which this is only one of them, all right? But I've got these Lazy Susans, that I inherited from my grandmother, and they're full of spices and relatively. I better pick that up, huh? Let's see, where did it go? Oh, there it is. Hang on. And I've noticed that in recent years, I tend to cook with spice blends as opposed to individual spices. I have never and never will be the sort of cook that measures out the spices based on what the recipe says. Can't do it. There's something wrong in my brain. My brain won't allow me to do it. So I'm thinking, why do I have to open and close all these dumb little spice containers every time I'm trying to make a dinner of some kind? And I thought to myself, well, you know what? You don't mix all that crap up together in individual spice blends. So instead of having all of these itty bitty tiny little jars everywhere, I will have, and on my floor, I will have a few of these, and each one will have its own special spice blend. Now, I kind of got this idea from working with the Pinsy's Buttermilk Ranch Dressing Base, that blend. I love it. I use it on everything. I've pretty much memorized the ingredients, so I will go back and try to more or less replicate that in addition to this other stuff I'm doing. But I thought, well, now while I've got this stuff, let's go ahead and make a spice blend. So, again, let me pick up the thing I just dropped on the floor. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to start with a south of the border Mexican style spice blend, because I cook a lot of food that takes that flavoring. So I've got some ancho chili pepper ground up right here. Got this from Pinsy's. It was a freebie in with some order that I had made. You know what I'm going to do? These are clean jars, but I feel like wiping them out anyway. You can look at my lovely kitchen sink while I get the towel. Yep. It's not one thing, it's 12 others. Alrighty, I'm coming back. Okay. This particular towel is a hot pink microfiber towel that my husband bought specifically for me because I love hot pink and he loves microfiber. So this is the perfect expression of our relationship. Oh, man. Okay, just going to give this a nice little wipe down on the inside. And I'm going to pour, instead of pouring directly into these jars, I'm going to go ahead and mix this in a bowl first, and then the bowl can be transferred into the jar. So let me see. Oh, here we go. This is nice. A nice metal stainless steel bowl. Okay, so now, mind you, this is random. I'm just throwing crap in a bowl. So here we go. Got a half of container of got a leaf in there. Grab a leaf, throw it out. Okay. I have half a container of the ancho chili. Now, I'm a huge fan of cumin. Love cumin. Love the plant it comes from, too. So, let me see if I've got some cumin. I have cayenne pepper, which will go in there eventually. I have hot curry, which is already a spice blend. Cumin, cumin, cumin. Where would I have my cumin? Let's look up here. Got my salt. Let's see here. Got paprika. Wow, bummer, dudes. Oh, here it is. Cumin. There is about 2/3 of a jar of this left. It's going to go right on top of the ancho chili. Now, I adore cumin. I always over cumin everything, so it's okay for this to be in, quite a large proportion to the other things that I'm putting in here, should that happen. All right, so I've got some hot Mexican style chili powder. That sounds wonderful. That's going in there. See, I've cleaned up 3 little jars already. Paprika will go into something else. That'll go into the buttermilk dressing stuff. Ground mustard. Here's some white pepper. Let's see here. See how much white pepper we have. Most of these spices they're not particularly old. They might be 2 years old, which I know is old for a spice, but I've got spices. I have tossed spices that I have had. There's not much. I'm going to use this in something else. That I have had for 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 years. When I've cleaned out my kitchen, I've found stuff like that. So I try to keep fairly newish spices. Oh, here's an entire thing of cayenne pepper, so I'm going to put just a little bit in there. Oh, I don't know. Maybe 2 tablespoons worth. I like it spicy. All right, cinnamon. Okay, cinnamon is great in Mexican food as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the top on this cinnamon. And I'm going to put in about, I don't know, 2 tablespoons or so. There we go. Oops. Now I've got some more chili powder. Dump that in. Get rid of that little container. Cloves. I've got gumbo filet. Go into something else. Poppy seeds. No, curry powder. I'll do something that's specifically, on the, that's old garlic powder. That's specifically on the Louisiana side. Oh, here's some onion powder. All right. I rarely ever use onion powder. This looks like it may be, oh, this onion powder has, I wonder if it makes a difference. It seems to have absorbed some water. I'm not going to use it. It's too sticky. There's something wrong with that. So, we've got curry, got sage, ground cloves, some more cloves. All right, I think that's everything off of that. Now, I've got a little bit more spice up in here, and let's see what we have. We have a tiny little bit of turmeric. I think I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. It's not a Mexican thing, but Grant usually uses his turmeric out of a different container, so that'll eliminate this tiny container. There's only about a tablespoon in there. And let's see, celery seed will go into something else. Now, another thing I'm going to keep separate, not in a blend, is garlic powder. If I had more garlic powder, I would put it in here. This is all I've got. So I'm going to leave this separate because I'll throw garlic powder on top of ice cream. I mean, really, it's ridiculous. There's dill, allspice. We'll do that in something else. Here is a sweet and tangy barbecue seasoning, which I'm going to consider throwing out. I need to check the ingredients on that. So I have unground coriander, which is cilantro, and I think it's also where cumin comes from too. Let's smell it. Let's smell it and see if it's what I think it is. Yep, using my teeth. No, it has absolutely no smell. It's probably because it's ancient. It has no smell. It's ancient, so we're going to just get rid of it. Okay. Alrighty, I've got lemon pepper. I've got oregano. A little bit of oregano, I think, in the Mexican style spice is a good idea. I don't know. I put about 5 tablespoons out of here. Is that 5? About 5. And let's see, lemon pepper. This lemon pepper is also getting a little funky. I think I'm going to put some in here anyway. I don't think it's that bad. No, it's fine. I put about maybe 2 tablespoons of lemon pepper just for the heck of it. And I've got celery salt. That's not a good thing for there. What is this? This is taco seasoning. I just opened this the other day, so I know it's not infected with anything. Got more chili powder. Wait till you see my chili powder. I literally have about this much chili powder. I love it. Here's a chili mix, chili and lime. I'm going to leave that by itself. That's a good thing to toss on stuff just as it is. My nutritional yeasts, I'm going to leave them separate, of course. Now I've got a bunch of black pepper that my son, God bless his heart, gave me, but the lids haven't been popped, so I'm not going to open those up. I can use black pepper from a different container to mess with that. Let's see. Ground thyme, again, that goes to something different. Maca root, no, we won't put that in there. Basil leaves, I think a little bit of basil, maybe 3 tablespoons worth. That'll give it I'll put a nice wang on it. Okay, let me see what I've got over here. Hang on. Let's see. Oh, more chili powder. Oh, yeah. And, okay, so here's my last thing of chili powder. That's a small container like this. I don't know what that was. Maybe 1/3 of the container. Okay, so now what we're going to do is with a clean spoon, we're going to find our salt. Oh, there's our salt. And, well, now we're going to add some salt and mix it all up. So here is how much I've got in here. It's about a 1/4 of this bowl is full of Mexican spice blend. So now I've got my cheap salt from U.S. Salt. How much am I going to put in? Well, I don't know. Let's find out. That's about a tablespoon, about 2 tablespoons, about 3 tablespoons. Okay. Now what we're going to do is, oh, I said I was going to add black pepper, huh? Let's find it. What did I do? Oh, is that it? No, that's the lemon pepper, which I already used some of. Let's see here. Black pepper, where are you? You're hiding from me because you know I'm going to be doing something funky with you. You don't want to have any part of this. Okay. It can run, but it can't hide. I found it. Okay. So now, throw in some black pepper. Let's see about how much. Maybe about as much salt, right? So, there. That's about even with the salt. So now, let's give this a little stir, shall we? Yeah, after cleaning my room, or while I was cleaning my room, I started to think about stuff like this. What are some other ways that I can maximize my space, combine things that I always use together anyway, at least in the same spot in my house, if not in the same container necessarily. So this occurred to me while I was looking in this kitchen. Any of you who know me, who've been following me for a while, you know how I've always got these big plans. Oh boy, I have got big plans. I'm going to paint this and decorate that and build the other thing. And, boy, I'm just going to I'm going to just Martha Stewart myself all over the place. And a lot of that has been hopeful, hopeful life changes. As I've been dealing with the grief of losing my parents, and as an aside, also losing Grants. We lost all 4 of them within a fairly short amount of time. So I've been storing up these ideas in my head, knowing that eventually I'm going to wake up and I'm going to look around and I'm going to say, okay, it's time. Well, that sort of happened. That's been happening the past couple of weeks. I've been waking up, looking around and saying, it's time. Clearing out the storages where we have all my mom's belongings, my parents' belongings. That's a big one because my brother and sister and I are going to meet up, clear that out. We're each going to take whatever little things were supposed to go to us and, shut it all down and call that done. In the meantime, I'm having to determine what should stay in my house and what should go into storage. There is a small possibility that within the next 5 years or so, we're going to end up living in a place that's much larger. Small possibility, hard to tell what's going to happen. I'm going to just ignore that for the time being. If that does happen, then I will finally have a place for all my stuff. Every thematic room that I've been saving, all of that will have a home. So I am not interested in getting rid of any of my antique or collectible or funky furniture, the stuff I've been acquiring over, my lifetime. I would much rather wrap it all up, store it carefully in one of the containers, and just leave it for the next few years and see what happens. I've got a kid who is going into his junior year of college, hopefully in December, or if not December, it'll be next fall. But, when he's done, he's going to want some family stuff for his house when he finally gets an apartment or whatever it is he's going to live in. And so I'm holding on to stuff for him. His brother, the same. I'm holding on to stuff for him. Things I'm just not willing to get rid of right now. So I'm not. Instead, they will be packed in a compact array out in my container. And in the meantime, what I'll be doing is pulling in things into my home that I want to use, that are more fine furniture that I don't want to have sitting out in a container that's going to get hot and cold. And kind of just buttoning my life down a little bit. So I've yammered on about that long enough. So I want you to take a look at what this looks like. This is what we're at. Nice, beautiful, rich red. So now what we're going to do is taste it. Oh, that's darn good. Wow. That ancho pepper really makes a difference. It's got such a distinctive flavor. Excellent. Okay, now I think I've got chili in here. Let's give it a little sniff and see. I love to go to, this is from Winco. I love to go to Winco and look at their bulk spices. Oh my, yummy. Okay. And I think I pretty much covered everything that was over here. I think most of the stuff that's left here is not a Mexican flavoring per se, although, I'm kind of giving a thought to some of the celery salt. I think some celery salt in here, maybe 2 tablespoons worth is a good idea. Go back over here. This is already a spice. This is a hot curry blend. I'm going to leave it just the way it is. Well, I think this is pretty well done, unless I have more cumin. I don't, huh? I used up all that cumin. See, I use cumin sort of as the base of anything that's in my Mexican flavoring. It's generally a cumin base. Okay, that's it. So we have spice blend number 1. I got rid of 2, 4, 6, 7 containers like this. Okay, so now what we're going to do is transfer that into one of these big jars. And let me see if I have a, what do you call those things? A funnel. Let me see if I have a funnel. I don't know. We're going to look and see. Yes, we have a funnel. Yay! Okay, we have a funnel. This is one I use when we can, when we make jelly. I just chop the bottom off so it would go through more quickly. All right, yeah, it's clean, but I'm going to wipe it off anyhow. And now I'm going to take this one. It's going to go here. You can't see it very well, but it's right here. I've got everything balanced strangely. Let's see, you guys are balanced on a cutting board and a clear bowl, and that's what you're balanced on. So let's see here. Go ahead and slowly transfer this. Oh, it seems to be transferring nicely. Why didn't I think about doing this earlier? I mean, it just makes so much sense. Whoops. In the comments, if you're so inclined, leave me a comment about what sort of spice blend you like to cook with the most. And if you make it yourself or if you buy it and that sort of thing. I'm curious. This will really come in handy with the $3 dinners too, because if you already have a bunch of spices on your shelf and you've made these very convenient blends, then doing something like jazzing up a package of egg noodles from the Dollar Tree, it makes it easy. It makes it simple. You know, what flavor do I want tonight? Do I want to go south of the border, or do I want to get on a tramp steamer and head to India, or am I going to catch a ride with Indiana Jones and that ridiculous little plane of his and go to China? I don't know. You can do some armchair traveling with your 99-cent dinners. All right. And here we go. Is that simple or what? Makes an entire, I spilled a little on the counter, so I'm going to put it in there, which I just cleaned off. Yes, relax. God, you guys, you're always so worried about whether things are clean. They look ratty, but I always make sure they're clean. Well, not always, but usually. So anyhow, there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop back over to my, what do they call that? It's called a china closet. I'm going to pop over the china closet and see if I have the tops that go with these. Let's just take a peeky poo, shall we? Well, there's nothing in there. And there's nothing in there. But that's no big deal, because what I will do instead, I will just put a layer of saran wrap, plastic wrap, and then I'll screw the ring lid back down on, and then tomorrow when we get up and we're doing stuff, I'll grab a couple of lids for these, because I do have them. I just don't have them handy. Okay, now let's take a look at what we have left. Okay. let's think in terms of, I don't cook a lot of Italian food, even though I'm a quarter Italian. But let's think in terms of something that has an oregano and basil base. So we'll give that a try. Doesn't have to be Italian per se. So here's what I have in my basil. I'm going to put about half of that in here. Well, no, about a third of it. And with my oregano, same thing. I've got about the same amount left. Put about a third of that in there. Okay. Now then, let's take a look at what we have left. Right, so we have cinnamon, no. We have cayenne pepper, no. Oh, I forgot to put that in the other thing, didn't I? I'll have to add some. We have ground ginger, no. Little ground mustard, I think, is not a bad idea. So I'm gonna put a little ground mustard in this. So let's see about, it's a little bit lumpy, so I'm gonna run it between my palms. This is going to end up being about 2 teaspoons, or close to a tablespoon maybe, of the ground mustard. All right, let's see what else we have on this tray. Ground ginger, no, we looked at that already. Sandwich sprinkle. Now this is something else I got from that place, Pinsy's. Got this from Pinsy's. Oh, but it has absorbed. It is completely like a brick, so we're not going to worry about that. If I were being really super thrifty, I would soak this in water, turn it into a. Wait a minute. Maybe that's not such a bad idea. Let's see what's in here. It has salt, garlic, black pepper, basil, oregano, rosemary, thyme, and marjoram. Essentially what I'm putting in here. Now that's interesting. Let's see if we can't break that up, just for the hell of it. Hang on. I'll find myself the tool of destruction and see if this can be salvaged. Oh, I think so. Oh, yeah. That can be salvaged. I think. Gosh, I hate throwing stuff away. Yeah. Well, you know what? No, you know what? I'm not going to do any more of that. It's just too gummy. There we go. All right. So now we have some poultry seasoning. Let's take a peek at that. Thyme, sage, marjoram, rosemary, black pepper, and nutmeg. I would say that all sounds great in here, and it's in good shape, so in it goes. And let's see here. Oh, white pepper. Put some white pepper in here. Pepper's just a little bit. Oops. Oh, now I'm throwing things everywhere. All right, so we're going to go with about, I had about 1/8 of a container of this that went in there. Now I'm so tempted to put dill weed, but I'm not going to, because dill is one of those things that I only like on a few dishes. Not enough that I'll be using a lot of it. So that's going back onto this container thingy. Cloves, no. Garlic powder. Well, you know what I'm going to do, actually? I think I'm going to use garlic powder in this only because I'm going to go back and get some more. This is about 1/3 of the container of garlic powder. Now, obviously, the coyote likes her garlic powder. She does. So, there we go. So that completed that. Oh, I'm shaken. I had a bad day today. I did not feel good today. I got up, made breakfast for Grant. This is celery seed. I'm going to use about half of what's left in there. So I made breakfast for me and Grant. It was a good breakfast. Scrambled eggs, a couple pieces of toast, and a little bit of cheese, I think, was in it. It was really good. So anyhow, we each had this hearty breakfast, and we were going to be cleaning all day, getting ready for the movers to come on Monday. Boy, I pooped out so fast. Whew. I pooped out so fast. And I lay down for a little while, which turned into a long nap. I used about half of what was left in here. Then I got up for a little while, did a few little things, tried to just maintain, hang out with Grant and get stuff done. I sat down in one of the recliners. I slept for a couple of hours. I got up and I was still tired. So I went and lay down on the guest bed, slept there for a while, and I got up around 6 or so, and I'm feeling good. I have a lot of energy. I don't feel tired. I'm not in any pain, physical body pain. I'm feeling really good. Where that came from, I have no idea. I was feeling headachy, a little nauseated, a little dizzy, a little weak. It was weird. So I guess I sort of slept that off today, and now I'm feeling like getting some stuff done. I don't know. It's about, what time is it? It's about 9:15 on a lovely Saturday evening. Okay, I'm just going to pop the top of this. This is sage. Oh, you know what? No, I'm not, because it's almost already at the top. So I'm not going to use it all. Well, I am going to pop the top, but I'm going to use about 2 teaspoons. I'm not a huge fan of overpowering sage flavor. I like sage, but not overpowering. Okay, so now what do we have? We have did I use celery salt yet? I don't think I did, huh? So I'm gonna put all of the celery salt. There's about 1/4 of a container. That's going in there. Now, what else do we have? We have our allspice, our gumbo filet, our cayenne pepper, some cinnamon, which I won't put in there, a little bit of ginger, some ground mustard, which I won't put in there. Can you still see me? Yeah. Again, the dill I'm not going to put in there. Have I made it all the way around? Cream of tartar, nutmeg. Okay. I think that's about all. So now we are going to give this a little stir and see what we think. Yeah, just throwing my empty spice containers all over the kitchen. Why not? All right. So this I would call sort of an all-purpose sort of seasoning. It would be something I'd sprinkle on eggs, put in soup or stew, sprinkle on a sandwich, maybe put a little bit into deviled egg filling, that kind of stuff. Just sort of an all-purpose. It could use salt, though, I believe, so I'm going to go ahead and put some salt in there. And we're going to go for about a little under 1/2 cup of salt. And we're going to get our pepper, put our fine ground Malabar black pepper from Costco, put about the same amount as we put salt. Now we're going to give this a little stir. Yeah, so anyhow, I've been bragging about going back to being a night sleeper, day worker, and boy, I guess I spoke too soon. I'm still enjoying this night work thing. Enjoying my night work. Being awake at night. I don't know. Can't figure it out. Not going to worry about it. Life's too short. Right. Now, if I had to get up and go to a job every day, that would be another story. Of course, I've worked night jobs and day jobs back in my working career. And, you do what you have to do, and you you make all the concessions you have to make, but I'm sure glad that I can run my time, the way I want to. Okay, so here's a little bit of, the screen keeps going black. I hope you can still see me. I'm sure you can. Come on back. Come on back to me. Okay, so here's a little bit. We're going to taste it. Oh, nice, pleasant blend. Pleasant blend. Enough, easily has enough salt, enough pepper. It has a nice, too much basil though. No, it's not basil. Too much oregano. But it's not so much oregano that's going to destroy my life or anything. That's fine. That's good. All right. So, let's see if there's anything else I want to put in here or have to put in here. I don't. Okay, so now what we're going to do is transfer what we've got in there into this one. Yeah. That's going to be really good in soups and stews. It will be very good with meats as a rub or a sprinkle, I think. Oh yeah, clean as a whistle. Okay. So now we're going to do this transfer. There's our little funnel. And then of course, each time you use this, you're going to want to give it a shake because all the small stuff like the salt and the finely ground peppers and things, that's all going to want to go to the bottom. And I'm not using any sort of stabilizing ingredient that would keep it all in suspension. This is just just the spices as they come. And so luckily I've got a little extra space at the top of each of these jars that will make it easy to shake. All right. And there you go. There's spice number 2, which I'm going to call multi-purpose. Okay. Now, what do we have left? What we have left is what I'm going to call a baking spice. What am I looking for on the ground? Oh, nothing. That's all junk I'm going to throw out anyhow. Okay. I'm going to call this a baking spice. This is something that I would use if I were making cinnamon rolls, maybe, which I don't ever do, but I've got all of this spice, so maybe if I put all this together, I might make some cinnamon rolls. Who knows? All right. I keep being very careful when I sit because I have a very big ass and this is a very small seat. Got to make sure I don't fall over. Okay. I'm inhaling the contents of my throat. Okay. Now we're going to look for the baking spices. We're going to start with this Badia nutmeg. And that's just going to go in there straight. And if let's say we were having I don't know, eggnog or something, I wouldn't trip because my nutmeg is actually in a spice mix of other things. Whatever. It's all good. It all tastes fine. So it's not traditional. Who cares? Let's see. So I've still got some curry, some thyme. I've got poppy seed left here. I ground allspice. There we go. Let's see if that's decent enough. Oh, what is that? Oh, that is bizarre. That's definitely not allspice. That smells like... Oh, how bizarre. Oh, for crying out loud. You know what this is? This isn't allspice. This is that flaky, it's got sesame seeds, flaked tuna, flaked seaweed, and salt. And this is the stuff that you pour on top of rice. Now I've got some here, right here. I love this stuff. I'm addicted to this stuff. It's the fumi furikake rice seasoning. I picked this up at our local fish store. So what is in here is now going to be, oh, I see, because I had two different varieties. So, all right. Now this what I like to do, I like to take rice, if I make rice and have it, you know, in the refrigerator, the next day I'll take it out, I'll heat it up real good, and then I will sprinkle this wonderful Japanese flaky seasoning on it, and it's great. Okay, so I took care of that. Now we have some cinnamon. Like I said, I will keep a bunch of cinnamon separate, but this just happens to be some cinnamon in a little container, so that's going to go down in here as well. If I can pop the lid, which I did. Give it a sniff and give it a look. Make sure it's still in decent shape, which it is. And that goes down in there. And let's see what else we have. We have some ground cloves. You have to be so careful with cloves. How many minutes am I? I don't know. I'm too many minutes. Ground cloves. This hasn't even been opened. I'm just going to put the slightest little amount, maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon. There we go. Now, the rest of these cloves I'm going to use in a craft project this Christmas. You know, you do the oranges with the cloves in them, and then you put that in a mix of ground seasonings. Well, that's what this is going to be used for. I just don't use clove much at all. Okay, dill weed, ground mustard, oh, ground ginger. I do believe I'm going to put some ground ginger. Not a ton of it. Whoop. Just about half of this container, which is sort of a ton, really, but it's okay. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Poppy seeds. No. Cream of tartar, that's for something else. Keep coming back to the dill weed. Got a lot more cloves there. A lot more cloves there. Boy, I have cloves everywhere. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some cinnamon. If I can find some cinnamon. And I'm going to fill this up with a little bit of cinnamon. So hold tight there, people. Here we go. Here we go. We got us some cinnamon. There's just a little bit left in this container. I'm always afraid I'm going to fall. So I'm going to dump all of this in here. It was about maybe 1/6 of a container. Now we're going to stir this up and give it a sniff. I'll need to find a smaller container for this, more of a, I don't know what it would be, pint-sized container maybe, I don't know. We're not going to taste this because these spices have no real meaning unless they've got some sugar to bring out their flavor, but I'm gonna sniff it pretty good. Nice baking blend. Okay. All right, that's going to be wonderful. It's heavy on the cinnamon, obviously. You can smell the undertones of the other spices, so that's good. So, do I see another container? Let's see what's in here. Okay, let's do this. I've got this nice little container here that had cloves in it. And let me just check it. No, it looks a little weird. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find something else that's appropriate. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, this is perfect. All right. So this container had some oven-dried garbanzo beans that a friend gave me a couple of months ago. We had about half of the container left. So I just dumped these out into a different container, and I'm just going to wipe out what was in there. It's all dry. It's not like it's going to contaminate anything. God, you people, I swear. Okay. Let's give it a nice little... All right, looks good. So now get our funnel, okay, and our spoon, and we're going to funnel this in to this container. So now we have a baking mix. Let's see here. I'm going to put this back in the bowl because I'm not sure if it's going to overflow or not. No, it didn't overflow at all. Perfect, perfect amount. Okay, so there we go. Now let's see how many containers I can put in my recycling. I can put that, this, these things. This goes to recycling. Take the stuff out of that. That'll go to recycling. Recycling, 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 more recycling, more recycling. And if I were being very frugal, I would hold on to these because they can be used for holding beads if you make jewelry. They can be used for a lot of things. But I am full up with that kind of organizational, those sorts of organizational needs. Hang on. And so I really don't need to, to save these. If I knew somebody else that needed them, I would save them, but I don't. So there you go. Let's see here. What have we managed? Oh my goodness. Look at this, would you? Wow. I have got some recycling here. Let's see here. What's underneath my chair? Let's see what's underneath my chair. Okay. Very good. Well, I've just overflowed my container. I've got these things and this. I'm going to dump these into recycle. Hang on. Oh, man. I don't know about you guys, but I sure love the sound of trash hitting the recycle bin. Oh, such a wonderful sound. So what did I get rid of? I got rid of about 2/3 of my small little spice containers, thus freeing up a lot of room for other things. So what did I have left that I didn't use? Well, I have things that you generally use alone, like cream of tartar is usually used on its own. Poppy seeds as well. I have some ground mustard just simply because I didn't have enough other spice blends to use that up. I had some ground cloves. You know how I feel about cloves. Dill weed again is something I like to keep by itself. I had cayenne pepper because it takes a little bit goes a long way. My gumbo filet, which also is something you use on its own. This Mrs. Dash Extra Spicy, which can be used on its own nicely. I have my hot curry, that's a blend. I have some celery seed left. More poppy seed. I have some ground thyme, some curry powder. So it looks to me like what we've got some sage here. What we have left now is enough to do like an Indian spice blend. So that's going to be the last thing I do. I'm not going to do it right now though. And so anyhow, that is my tip for the night. If you're like me and you just like to throw spices in and you have favorite blends, make them up yourself. Put some room in your kitchen. So on that happy note, I'm going to say bye-bye.